All right, guys, it's another Calica's class podcast. Today I have a special guest. It is one of my former students, Miss Chynna Chun. She is a 2019 graduate from Mililani High School. Some of you guys may recognize her. For those of you that are still watching my podcast, which is like a couple of you, so she might look familiar to you guys. But yeah, China, she was at UH Manoa this past year. And so I just wanted to have her on just to talk to you guys about the college experience and kind of what she's seen this past year. So China,
Hi everyone, I'm Chynna Chun, like Calica said. I've actually been in FFA for a couple years now. Calica was my advisor my last year before I ran for state office. I'm a freshman at CTAR, the College of Tropical Agriculture and Human Resources. I'm majoring in tropical agriculture and environment, which is actually one of the new majors we have at CTAR. And yeah, we just finished our freshman year, going on to sophomore year. Very exciting.
right on. So let's start off with that. What was it like this first year in CTAR? I mean, are you taking any agriculture classes right now, or is it just your core classes you're taking?
So that's interesting because usually when you're a freshman, sophomore, you have like your prereq, so it's not so much your major, but I tried to at least incorporate at least one ag class every semester. So my freshman year, my fall 2019 year, I was in a part of it's online ag class. So we learn about of food sustainability, traditional farming, as well as biotechnology and GMOs. We kind of touch base on it. So it's like a wide variety introductory class. My spring semester, I did a food production kind of class as well. We learned about the different herbs and spices, like turmeric, for example, because that business is booming. We have allspice. We talked about star anise, like basically all the spices and herbs that there are. So yeah, it's I think for me, you have to get rid of your prereqs like bio and chem, but you also want to have some sort of like relaxing class, like that chill class. Really goes back to the roots and why you are majoring in ag, for example.
Okay. So what was it like this first year as a freshman? Would you say it was harder than high school, or was it on par, or just in general, what was your first year in college like?
Well, I was really fortunate because my first year I didn't necessarily have the full college experience, being away from college, being away from your family, having that support system. But I was still fortunate to dorm on campus, so I was at the freshman towers. So even though I was away from family, I still was away from them technically. It's very interesting though. I think the classes, I feel like sometimes high school classes were a little bit harder than college, just for freshman year though.
And didn't I tell you guys that? Like a lot of
No,
times you would find that,
seriously,
yeah, like college, it's a lot more like independent, right?
it
Where you have
is.
to, yeah, you have to be like self-directed, but nobody's like there like watching you, right?
Yes, and it's so easy to slack off too because one, you can make your own schedule. So they give you this whole like 14 credits is the recommendation you take. So that's about 5 classes maybe with labs. But you can drop or add as much as you want. So some people would take like 18 credits versus like 12 credits. So it's really depends where you are, how much you want to take, especially if you work as well. Your schedule is going to be a lot more busy. If you do research on the side, that's a lot busy too. For me, I had to balance FFA for one, work my spring semester as well as college. So I think for me, it was
That's
I
a lot.
had kind of a yeah, I was pretty busy, honestly. Um,
So is this set up the same way? Like I remember when I was at West Oahu, anything you take over 12 credits, you don't have to pay for, right? Like you could take
oh,
15 credits or you could take 18 credits and you're still considered full time.
yeah, I think for us it's around 17 to 18.
Okay. And anything above that, you don't have to like pay per credit or something, right?
Yeah, I think so. I'm not sure on
Okay.
that.
Okay, you guys might want to look into that. Because I'm not a counselor, so but I know when I was going there, that's why like I think at one point I was taking 18 credits. I didn't have to pay for the additional credits. I was just considered full time.
That's a lot of
But
classes though.
yeah, it was. Yeah, I dropped like two of the classes. It was too much. It was too much. I was like, oh my, what was I thinking? What was I thinking? Um, but yeah, so right there, you're hearing it from a freshman in college. Uh, it's manageable, right? College manageable.
It is manageable. It's as manageable as you want it to be. Most times
Yeah,
people, it depends too. You can make your own schedule. So if you have all classes in the morning, afternoon, you can go beach or hang out with your friends. Like,
yeah,
it's what
yeah.
you
And
make
I
of
know a
it.
lot of people they try to set it up so they only have to go to school like twice a week or something,
Yep.
right? So all like Monday, Wednesday classes or something. Yeah, you can set it up that way too. Yeah.
Yeah. And certain courses, you can actually opt for the online version instead. So you don't even have to physically go to campus and go school.
Okay, so since you brought that up, online school, what was your experience with that?
Oh
Because
my
I've
goodness.
actually kind of talked to the students about online schooling when this whole situation first started. I was like, a lot of times it can be a little more difficult. But what was your experience with it?
Well, we're actually very fortunate because the president of the University of Hawaii, he actually took measures very early on. He didn't take any chances. He closed down all the campuses pretty early on when we were first getting to know what COVID was.
Spring break, yeah. I think it's spring
Yeah,
break.
so it was smart because we didn't know what was happening. We got the news, the email, and then spring break was the time where all the instructors figure out what the heck are they going to do because these courses aren't meant for online. So they converted it. It's actually pretty interesting though. A lot of my professors didn't do the exact same thing. Like some of them, they did Google Meet lectures, so you have to go on and take notes or whatever. Others, they would just post the PDF lectures, like for bio, for example, and you just take notes at your own time. Others, we were required to do Zoom calls because we had a smaller class, maybe like 10 or so for Spanish. So then we had
Okay.
to be interactive. We were put in breakout rooms to talk to each other in Spanish, that kind. So I think for me, online is a lot harder, especially the tests and quizzes. And I don't think a lot of the instructors realize that. Like, even though you have your notes and your resources available, like you can cheat, for example, they give you that option. The test is like out of the water. It's like nothing what we learned about all semester long.
Were they time tests?
Yes, they were.
Oh, okay. Well, there's the trick, yeah, because you only have so much time to like Google
Yeah.
stuff or like look through your notes, right?
It's
So
kind of
I
like
guess that's the
the
trick.
AP exams. They they shorten it a lot, so it's only like one free response question versus like if you did it physically, it would have been 2 hours of multiple choice and a free response.
Oh, I see. See. So yeah,
Yeah.
you have more time. In fact, yeah, like the AP exams. I don't know if you heard about that, but the AP exams are going to be online.
Yeah, I
So
heard about it.
yeah, yeah. But the thing is, I think they cut the time in half. So technically, they could Google everything, but then I think they only had like 45 minutes per test or something. Yeah, so it's going to be
Yeah.
super fast.
My brother actually, he's studying for AP World and it's only one DBQ. It's 45 minutes. It's crazy. It
Yeah,
used to be
yeah.
like
So
a 3 hour exam.
yeah, but kind of in a way, if you think about it, it's kind of more real world, right? Like if you don't, like I always tell you guys, right? If you don't know something, you look it up. So really, what it's testing is how well can you look things, like how fast can you look things up? Which
Yeah.
are you finding that out in college? Like a lot
Oh,
of stuff
heck
is
yeah.
you gotta look it up,
Yeah.
right? Yeah.
I think the biggest thing too is like you have to be open to making friends and making those connections. You gotta be close with your professors too. Even if your professor is teaching 300 kids at once, at least going to office hours and making yourself known and physically going in for help, like that's gonna make you not only stand out, but get you the most help you need to pass.
Hey, that's a good point. So let's go off of that. Yeah, the professors. I mean, it's good to get to know your professors. In fact, I remember like going to karaoke with some of my professors. I go out drinking root beer with my professors. So like they do give you opportunities to actually kind of socialize, but that's a big part of it is like networking, right? In
Yes.
college, I think that's like half of the game is learning how to get along with people and then making connections. Kind of like
Hmm.
what you're saying, right? Is like once you graduate, maybe that professor knows someone that can get you a job, right? Or knows somebody in this field that is looking for this type of person, right? So they're going to be thinking about you. Um, but yeah, so that's really important. Basically, everything. outside of high school is making connections and networking with people.
Honestly. And some of the advice that past TAs gave us is like every semester or every summer, for example, always try to go for an internship or always try to stay involved. Like, don't stay stagnant thinking like, oh, just because school is over, yeah, that's okay, right? You have to keep making those connections and being open to it. Like interning for Kupu, for example, that opened up a lot of doors you didn't know about first, and talking about conservation. Like I went to Pai Pai Ohe Ia, which is in Kaneohe, the fish pond there, Papahana Kua Ola, the lo'i patches. Like making those connections really helps you because then you want community service hours, for example, or people to help you with your research. Those are the go-tos.
Yeah, very good. Yeah, it's kind of what Sam was saying too in our last podcast was, yeah, a lot of her research was done just by call, she was able to just call or text people, right, that she met through volunteering, and it made the research projects a lot easier for her, right? Just because she knew people that knew, certain things, right? So yeah, that's super important. But I guess going off of that, what's been going on with CTAR? Like, I guess it's a good question to ask. It's up in my brain fart. Oh, um, can you tell us a little about like maybe just the CTAR program and maybe like a project or something that kind of stuck out to you? Maybe that was fun that you kind of want to use to entice students to join CTAR.
Well, I think Sitar right off the bat, like they're super hands-on and they're very accommodating too. Like as soon as you walk into Gilmore Hall, the butterfly building, like okay, here's advisors, you can talk to advisors. All three of the advisors are super nice. They help you with your schedule. We have a student lounge in Gilmore Hall, so it's always stocked with free food. We have printers, we have a fridge, microwave, like literally everything to best help you in college. Um, this is actually a pretty monumental year because we had our first ever CTAR day. So we had a bunch of booths out in campus center by kind of by the gym, and they were all lined up, all the majors, all the different clubs and whatnot. They were like giving out free sunflowers, free bouquets of flowers, plants. I mean, it was pretty enticing because you're trying to get all the prospective students into CTAR.
Yeah,
And it's also pretty diverse too. We have a bunch of majors. I know Sam talked about it. We have like natural resources all the way down to fashion design, and people are like, "Oh, how the heck is fashion involved?" So we really have a lot of opportunities for different students and different backgrounds. Like you don't necessarily have to be in ag or be in CTAR to go into ag. You know what I mean? Like you could be in fact be interested in fashion or dietetics or family science, for example, and that's still considered CTAR.
yeah, yeah. Right on.
Um,
Can you think of like maybe a project you guys did or like something that kind of stood out to you about the program? Maybe a hands-on, maybe a like a field day you guys did or something like that.
Ooh, I think, well, I this the spring semester actually was the first time I was actually
It was kind of
working.
disrupted, right?
Oh
So
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So I got into that CTAR student ambassador um, organization that Sam was talking about too.
Okay.
And just like literally when we're supposed to go to a ranch in Waianae, the thing just cut off, just COVID happened. So
Oh man.
I wouldn't necessarily have a project at the moment, but like there's gonna be a lot of opportunities in the future for me to
So
explore.
they offer, like Sam was saying, like they offer a lot of like field trips like that, like a lot
Yeah.
of internships and whatnot. So again, students, if you guys are looking for something that gets you out of the classroom, right, look into CTAR. Seems like you're saying that you guys do a lot more hands-on type of things, and it's not just classroom, classroom, classroom.
Oh yeah.
So yeah. So I think that fits a lot of my students, right? A lot of the kids I get, they don't want to be stuck in the classroom. So it'd be good for them to get into a program where, you get out in the sun. But yeah. Anything else you want to add about CTAR? Or
Yeah, we have a bunch of clubs actually, like you can be involved in. We have animal science club, we have entomology, and the perfect thing about it too is you don't necessarily have to be that major to be a part of that club. For example, you don't have to be an animal science major to join the actual club. Like
voices.
They're very inclusive. So I think there's something for everyone.
Yeah. And that's another thing I miss about college is like the clubs. There's like all these different clubs you could join, right?
Yeah.
Um, like at West Oahu, it probably wasn't nearly as big, but I'm sure in Manoa, like they have like those club days, right? Where
Oh
everybody's
yes.
like out in the booths and stuff. And I mean, there's like, would you say hundreds? There's probably like hundreds of different clubs, right? In Manoa.
I don't know the exact number, but there's a
There's
lot.
dozens. There's dozens, right?
And it takes a lot of planning to do what they do because they're all lined up like both directions. There's a lot of free stuff that you guys could grab. Like it's I don't know, it's pretty interesting. It's really fun too.
Yeah. Cool, cool. So, let's see. Going back to well, I guess we kind of touched on the whole COVID situation, and remote learning and all that. Um, how do you think they're gonna move forward from here? Do you guys know, like next or when school starts back up, is college,
Um,
are they gonna let you guys come back to school?
so I know that they're working out those kinks right now, but I know that they're doing a hybrid situation. So if professors are still uncomfortable about physically going onto campus, they could opt for that online or some medium in between. Obviously, it's we don't really necessarily know as students, but that's kind of up in the air.
Okay. Yeah, because I know for us it's still kind of up in there too, like about when we're gonna start back up. I've heard some people say we're gonna start in August. I've heard other people say not until December. I'm like, what?
Oh my
It's
goodness.
crazy. So I've heard all different kind of things. Um, so I think probably the same with UH. Yeah, everybody's just kind of going along with the flow at this point.
Yeah, play it by ear every day.
But I guess we can just kind of finish up with any advice you want to give to my students. Probably my seniors aren't watching this. Any seniors, if you're watching this, good for you. But I think most of my seniors checked out. But like for the juniors, sophomores, freshmen that might be watching this, any advice you want to give them for high school now that you're graduate? Like what should they be doing right now? Maybe to prepare themselves for college, and I don't know.
I think, Mililani, right? We're always super studious, always care about school, 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 right? You have to be able to step back from that and realize like there's more to life than just schoolwork, your essays you gotta do, right? You gotta make those connections and you also have to at least have like some sort of angle in mind or have an idea of what you want to major in, or if you're planning to go in college, right? What do you want to go into? I think my struggle when I was a junior and senior is like I didn't have no plan. I knew I wanted to stay home for college, but I didn't know what I wanted to go into. So I think thinking ahead or at least having a general idea is really good. That way you don't have to rush at the end with all the applications coming at you at once. Um, Also just realizing too like don't go into a major that everyone else is going into, and I think a couple of my friends are in that situation now. Like for example, engineering is always very very popular here at UH. um, just because your friends and your family are all going to civil engineering doesn't mean you have to follow that herd too. It's like you have that need to go into civil engineering, but do you want to go into civil engineering? That's the whole thing.
Yeah,
Like don't follow the herd, you can forge your own path. And I think that's the beautiful thing about college is figuring out who you are and what you want to do.
yeah, yeah. And kind of going off of that, I think you gotta be flexible too. It's okay to
Absolutely.
change majors. It's probably better financially if you don't change your major, but it's perfectly fine to change your mind. Most of the credits transfer. Like I think I changed my major like twice,
Hmm.
so you know, and it's something that happens. But yeah, you gotta be flexible, right? When it comes to
Yeah.
your plans. Yeah.
And never close doors or burn bridges either, because you never know that person that you shut off a couple years ago might be your research partner a couple years later. Like you never know.
And eventually they might be your boss one day, right? Like
Yes, that's
I
the
mean, you
big
never
point.
know, right? So be nice to everyone. And something I tried teaching to you guys, right, was like be nice to everyone, treat everyone, equally. Um, any other advice you want to give students?
Um, It's like I think it's also important to have fun too. I think people forget like, oh, I'm in college, I need to get a 4.0 and this, get all A pluses in whatever classes, but you got to realize like C's still get degrees.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, like on your degree, it doesn't say what your GPA
Yeah.
was. You get a degree, you get your diploma, and it just says, you got a master's or you got a bachelor's. It doesn't say what your GPA is, right? Kind of going off of that too, like I think a lot of students, especially in Mililani, it's what I noticed, being this my second year there. A lot of you guys are competitive about your grades.
Oh, absolutely.
You guys want to like you have to have a 4.0 or 4.3, right? And you're used to being at the top. And then when you get to college, what you're gonna find is a lot of times there's always gonna be someone smarter than you. There's
Absolutely.
always maybe not smarter than you, because grades aren't everything, but there's always gonna be someone that has a higher GPA than you, right? And for at least with my friends, I have some friends that they kind of got burnt out trying to keep up and trying to stay at the top, and they burnt themselves out because they're like always used to being at the top of the GPA, right? And they get to college like, oh my God, there's like these Chinese students that are super smart.
Yeah.
I'm just saying,
Yeah, yeah, I
they're
know what you mean.
Chinese. I don't know what it is, but yeah. So you know, it's all right to have a modest GPA, just as long as you're doing the best you can, right? Um,
No, seriously, because I know a bunch of people, just because you're valedictorian, right? You got a 4.3 in high school, right? In college, they're at 3.3. It doesn't matter. You can be super smart, but have a really bad GPA. It doesn't mean you're dumb. It just means like college is just different.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Grades aren't everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, that's good advice. Right on. But yep, I think it's about the end of their attention span here. So any last words of wisdom or anything, any shout outs you want to give to anyone or might be regretting this?
Um, I don't know. I think coming back and like talking with you makes me more appreciative of the high school teachers that we have because the high school teachers care so much more than the professors back in UH. Not saying that they don't care, but they know their students more intimately.
Mhm. Yeah,
Like we
yep.
gotta give props to you guys for doing what you guys do because it is not easy dealing with us students all the time.
Yeah, I mean it's fun too though, like
Yeah.
but yeah, thanks for that. I had you my first year, so it was a little chaotic, but yeah, I think for the most part, to be a teacher in the public school, you got to care about the students, right? And you got to
Mhm.
have a little fun with it too. Um, I've had a lot of great professors, but I had a lot of professors who, I think I told you guys this before, but they probably didn't even know my name, right? Like
Yep.
they didn't even know like I was in their class, right? So it is a lot different when you get to college. It's a lot more uh impersonal. It's not as personal as high school, yeah. But yeah, thanks for that, and yeah, thanks for coming on this podcast, giving your experience as a freshman. Now you're going to be a sophomore.
Yep.
Crazy, crazy, and just keep at it. But yeah, any last words?
No, I mean, if you guys have any questions about CTAR or anything college related, like you can feel free to contact me or Sam. Honestly, I feel like Sam's a better contact too. But yeah,
Okay, okay, yeah, maybe I'll put you guys' email in my Google Classroom link. But yeah, so thanks again, China. Thanks
thank
for doing
you.
this with me, and you take care. I'm just gonna stop it right here.